This is Rediffusion, broadcasting on the London station of the Independent Television Authority.
This is Border Television, broadcasting to Cumbria, South Scotland, the Isle of Man, and North and West Northumberland, from the Colbeck, Selkirk, and associated transmitters of the Independent Broadcasting Authority.
This is Carlton, television for London.
This is Carlton, television for London. Was that okay? Was I all right? Oh, yes. Good. Yes. Did I look okay? Was I smiling?
Thank you, lovely.
Oh, lovely.
Next, please.
One.
Roll.
May I, on behalf of Scottish Television, wish you better viewing in the future.
Tyne's Television, Channel 8. Only Max Factor Cream Puff brings you instant beauty, constant skin care. The time, 7 o'clock.
Don't just say brown, say hold it. Oh.
In the spring of 1964, TWW learnt that it would be shortly required to provide a television service for Wales as a whole, in addition to the service already being provided for the west of England and South Wales. Earlier in 1964, the company had, at short notice, undertaken the broadcasting commitments of the WWN company, which supplied programs to West and North Wales. Meanwhile, the Independent Television Authority announced its intention of extending the Welsh network of transmitters by adding a new aerial to the St Hilary transmitter in Glamorgan. This aerial, disseminating programs on Channel 7, became operational early in 1965. TWW therefore provides two complete television services, one for Wales with a strong emphasis on Welsh language programming, and one for the west of England and South Wales, also containing a high proportion of local interest programs. The 60 hours of programming required for the two services each week comprised programs produced at TWW's own studio centres in Bristol and Cardiff, programs taken from the network companies, and film programs purchased from outside sources. The complex technical operation of blending these programs and commercials together into the two services and feeding the services to the transmitters is carried out in the master control room here at Pont Cannon. The original master control was designed to supply one service only. A bigger, more elaborate master control was necessary to deal with the two services. In addition to a new master control room, a further studio was required to cope with the increase in local production. Additional dressing rooms, rehearsal rooms, makeup rooms also had to be built. And of course, office accommodation for the extra staff of 80, taken on since January 1964. A building lease on land adjacent to the studio was obtained from Cardiff Corporation, and the work of clearing and excavating began in October 1964. The excavation reached a depth of 30 feet. TWW had to dig deep into its pockets too, for the cost of this specially designed complex of buildings alone was going to amount to nearly £250,000. While the work of construction proceeded on the site, orders for equipment worth £130,000 were being placed with manufacturers. The steel girder framework of the new building completed, the bricklayers moved in. Meanwhile, an engineering methods study team was working out, by the use of models, the best and most practical layout for the new master control area and its maze of equipment. The total length of cable to be used amounted to 100 miles, enough to stretch from Cardiff to Bristol and back twice. There were, therefore, plenty of formidable problems ahead, even after the topping out ceremony, which signaled the completion of building as such. Equipment had to be transferred piece by piece from the old master control room into the new, without any break or stoppage in the daily transmissions of the two services. Gradually, this phased transfer was completed during the summer and early autumn of this year. The new studio on the ground floor was brought into operation in November of last year and has been in constant use ever since. And now, here is the new master control. Its central feature are the transmission control desks, one for each of the two services. And the announcer's studios, again, one for each service. Backing the control desks are 7 telecine machines to handle the vast quantities of film transmitted daily. Adjoining is a glass-paneled videotape area housing 3 machines. The area has been specially treated to absorb the noise of the machines in operation. The derelict remains of Pontcanna Farm. The last stage of the TWW development scheme envisaged their demolition to make way for additional car parking facilities for the increased staff required to man the two services. Guests and artists taking part in the company's programs had also increased in number, and more parking space was necessary to relieve congestion. The completion of the car park was the last phase in TWW's £380,000 extension and development scheme. And so, the company's policy of maintaining its studio centres among the most up-to-date and best equipped in Europe has been implemented yet again. Where there was one service, now there are 2, separate yet interdependent, and the very best that the company can provide.
I'd like you to have a look at this. Now, here is a model of Drake's ship, the Golden Hind. And we've chosen it not only because it's a beautiful ship, but also because, to us, it represents the West Country. And one of the things we want to do more than anything else is to identify ourselves with the four counties of Devon and Cornwall, Somerset and Dorset. And we sincerely want to produce programs that you will like. And this is where I'd like your help. We don't know what you want until you tell us. And we want you to tell us what you like and what you don't like. And please don't restrict your advice to what you don't like. It's very important to us to know that we are pleasing the majority of the people the majority of the time. Quite obviously, we can't hope to please all the people all the time.
This is rediffusion, broadcasting on the London station of the Independent Television Authority.
This is Border Television, broadcasting to Cumbria, South Scotland, the Isle of Man and North and West Northumberland from the Colbeck, Selkirk and associated transmitters of the Independent Broadcasting Authority.
One.
Roll.
May I, on behalf of Scottish Television, wish you better viewing in the future.
And just before you retire for the night, don't forget to switch off your set. Once again, a very good night and sleep well.
correct hour of news and Olympics at 10 o'clock. The film tonight at 11, not 10:30 as you may have read, The Yellow Balloon, a rather special little creepy with Andrew Ray and Kenneth Moore. Live Olympics at 12:25, all on London Weekend Television, and it's still only Friday.
With such a lot of pain in every tear, what's another year? Someone who is getting used to what's another? One for sorrow, two for joy, three for a girl and four for a boy, five for silver, six for gold, seven for a secret never to be told.
Quiet, you fools.
This is Thames Television, operating on the London area transmitters of the Independent Broadcasting Authority. Selling Hitler, the story of the Hitler Diaries by Robert Harris, is published by Faber and Faber and is available in paperback at £3.99 from all bookshops.
Next tonight on TVS, the national and international news.
The new M40 extension has caused dramatic changes to the lives of those who live in its path.
We never really truthfully thought the motorway would come through this area.
It's not only humans that fall victim to the march of the motorway builders. Along the road ahead, who really stands to gain? A Viewpoint 91 special, tonight at 10:40 on TVS.
And before that, the news at 10 now with Alistair Stewart and Alistair Burnett.
In 9...
Good evening. After yet another dreary day on the weather front, and I'm afraid there's no let-up, not just yet. Now, normally mid-June like this, we'd expect high pressure to dominate the scene. But look at this, it's very much lows in charge, a whole string of them. And even though today's weather front has moved away with all its cloud and rain, giving us at least a glimmer of hope, it is only half the story, because here we've more showery rain very much heading our way from the west, the basic equation being sunshine, but lots of showers for tomorrow. Now, in fact, the only place unlikely to see any brightness at all is the very far north of Scotland. We've still got the remnants of that disturbed weather just lingering on there. For the rest of us, very much a mixed bag. Some sunshine, but some fairly hefty showers too, as that first band of showery rain crosses the country, snaking across, and ends up there in the east, only to allow breathing space for the next band of showers to appear on the scene, and that comes our way again, with basically more of the same. Now, temperatures could well be down a shade on today's values, on the whole round about the 16 to 19 mark, but the wind is the main thing, southwesterly winds tending to freshen up a touch, so it could end up being a blustery old sort of a day. That's all from me. Good night.
In the south tonight, the brave schoolgirl who escaped from a terrifying kidnap attempt. Customers are outraged by Southern Water's high profits. And a Dorset children's home closes after complaints about its treatment. Good evening. An 11-year-old schoolgirl has been praised by police after fighting free of a man who tried to abduct her. Karen Eaton was on her way home from school in Chandler's Ford near Southampton when she was attacked. Her would-be abductor offered her a lift, then tried to pull her into his car. Nigel Burwood reports.
11-year-old Karen Eaton is still visibly shocked by the incident that so nearly turned into a nightmare. She was walking home from Toynbee School when she realised she was being followed by a man in a white car. As Karen turned into Oakmount Avenue, the driver stopped and offered her a lift. When she refused, he grabbed hold of her.
Started pulling me into the car, and then he pulled my bag and broke it, and then I kept calling me the names. Then I walked off, ran off, and started screaming.
She did exactly the right thing. She ran away from the man. She told him she didn't want the lift. She was able to get away. She did at one stage call for help, although unfortunately nobody was in the area. So yeah, she did exactly the right thing.
The man is said to be aged between 40 and 50, about 5 feet 9 inches tall, and scruffily dressed in a black jacket and black trousers. Karen's mother believes he may be responsible for other attempts to abduct children.
There have been a couple around the same area, and I don't think anything's been done about them at all. I don't think they've even been reported.
Detectives say they don't believe there's any link between Karen's experience and other incidents in the area, but that won't lessen the worry for parents and children, and from now on, Karen will only go to and from school by bus.
There's been public outrage at today's news that Southern Water have made record profits of nearly £100 million. It follows an increase in prices last April of nearly 15%. Customers are also angry that the chairman of Southern Water has been given a huge pay rise.
I think it's scandalous.
Disgraceful.
It's disgusting, really.
Surely money that's been made should go back into the industry and make it cheaper for the consumer.
That's what some of Southern Water's 4 million customers think. They're having to pay 15% extra for their water this year. While the company's chairman, William Courtney, has received a massive 172% pay rise since privatisation 18 months ago. He now earns £120,000, almost 2.5 times as much as the Prime Minister. Southern Water's profits for the year ending March were up 15.5% to £97 million. So for every pound the company handles, it makes an incredible 38.5 profit. To keep shareholders happy, dividends are going up by 18%.
The interests of the shareholders are being put before the interests of consumers and indeed the interests of the environment as well. I think the water companies have got their priorities wrong, and I think these profits show that.
William Courtney's pay rise makes him the highest paid water company chairman, although Southern Water is just a medium-sized water utility.
That sounds a lot, but of course, if you compare the size of our business and the profits generated with those of British industry, you will find people earning 2 and 3 times as much as I earn.
Southern Water's figures please shareholders and the city, but for customers it was enough to make the sewage sludge hit the fan, giving more ammunition for critics of water privatisation and increased pressure on the industry's watchdog to act.
11 members of the Senate... Carl Tyler.
Good evening. Well, still a spot of rain around, but soon becoming dry, a little bit misty later on, with some patchy hill fog, I think, around the dawn period. Your lowest temperatures, 10, that's 50 Fahrenheit. Now, our chart for noon tomorrow shows all the fronts out of the way, bears well for some sunshine at last, but there will be some scattering of showers for the afternoon. Tomorrow morning, then, a bit of a cloudy start, but I think the sun breaking out, particularly in the west, quite early on, but it may not get over as far as Sussex until round about midday. And then for the afternoon, it's sunny spells, a scattering of showers, perhaps the odd heavy one in the north of the area. Quite a brisk wind from the west. Your best temperature's 20, that's 68. So for our summary then, a dry morning with sunny spells, scattering of showers after lunch.
And the rain, it raineth every day. That's it from the news team. Good night.
Pluckley, a picturesque village in Kent. 11 years ago, it was also the scene of the brutal murder of an elderly spinster. A young village boy was convicted of the killing. Up to this day, he protests his innocence. Facing South on Thursday examines his claims and asks why even relatives of the dead woman believe his conviction was wrong. And next tonight, the M40 extension and its effects on residents in Viewpoint 91. Tonight on TVS, a pilot episode of a new series. There's a clash of personalities in Hardball. Before that, Viewpoint 91.
News next. First from ITN, read by Carol Barnes, and then at 6 with Coast to Coast.
Tonight on TVS, the first 30 years of survival looks at one of Kenya's most endearing creatures, the colobus monkey.
Its grave manner and appearance has earned it a place in folklore. The early Arab traders noted that when the colobus climbed the trees at dawn and dusk, they seemed to be hunched in an attitude of prayer. They called them messengers of the gods.
Survival, the first 30 years, tonight at 7:30 on TVS.
Where in 50 minutes, Bob Holness puts more student contestants through their paces as he sets the questions on blockbusters. And that's followed by Emmerdale at 7 when Archie takes over a friend's business in the village and Elsa and Nick aren't on speaking terms. And that's all after Coast to Coast.
On Coast to Coast tonight, details of the banned report of the sinking of the Wilhelmina J are leaked in a national newspaper.
Will the Portland Naval Base be saved from closure? We go live to the House of Commons as the Armed Forces Minister gets to his feet.
And why are children on the Isle of Wight knitting jumpers for oil-stricken birds?
Find out why tonight at 6.
years interest-free credit. The Sweet Shop Superstores and International Furniture bring you their biggest ever bonanza. Thousands of suites in stock, from cotton print and Draylon to luxury leather, all at unbeatable prices. That's guaranteed. We'll arrange immediate delivery and give you, yes, give you £100 part exchange on your old suite. The Superstores are open 7 days a week and late to late Thursdays and Fridays. The Sweet Shop Superstores throughout the South. There's a Sweet Shop Superstore near you.
Secret trawler report, the court ban is defied by a newspaper.
Our threatened bases, Parliament debates the Navy's future.
It's their round, the regulars who are buying their local.
And why island children are knitting comforters for oiled birds.
Good evening. The ban still preventing publication of a report into the Wilhelmina J fishing tragedy has been...
Prescription for the 21st century, first Tuesday, tonight, after news at 10.
From our studios in Maidstone, you're watching TVS. Now the national and international news from ITN.
Granada's award-winning production of Brideshead Revisited is now available on a set of 6 cassettes, available from video shops everywhere, or direct from Granada Video, 36 Golden Square, London W1R 4AH.
Anglia, some programmes for Wednesday night. At 7:30, drama down Coronation Street as Audrey breaks the news about Gail's baby.
She's not sure it's Brian.
At 8, Des O'Connor and the best of guests, classic moments from his series. At 9, the return of Sherlock Holmes, with the great detective drawn into an ancient ritual and a hunt for hidden treasure that could lead to fortune or perhaps to death. At 10:30, Crime Inc. in Las Vegas, where showbiz collides with gambling and gangsters. At 11:30, a near riot with Johnny Cash in San Quentin.
Make your walls fall and may I live to tell.
Some programmes for Wednesday night here on Anglia, the one to watch.
Beet growers, broken hearts, a subject close to all of us. Investigated tonight at 10:30 on ITV.
You're watching Anglia Television. Now the news from ITN at 10 o'clock.
You're watching Anglia Television. The time now, 10 o'clock.
There now follows a party political broadcast by the Liberal Party.
In 1979, the Conservatives made a number of promises. Their manifesto claimed, "Our country's decline is not inevitable. We in the Conservative Party think we can..."
Well, amongst tomorrow's programmes for children are Screen Test 200 at 4:40 and Rent-A-Ghost at 5:15. And there's more for children in just a few moments on BBC Two, when you can see part 5 of the current story from Grange Hill.
Production comes to a halt at the giant Vauxhall plants at Luton and Dunstable. In Look East, in 20 minutes, we'll have the latest on the one-day strike there. Also tonight, as farm workers resume their pay talks, we'll be examining a report which claims that thousands of men are still on the breadline.
And I'll be finding out whether this very cramped, home-built nuclear shelter would be sufficient to survive a nuclear attack.
Bob Ledwidge reports for Look East at 6 o'clock.
Tonight at 7:20, Tales of the Gold Monkey.
That's what I want to hand, remember? There's a couple of Zeeks on our tails.
In the skies and the jungles of the South Seas, Corky and Jake fight mysterious foes in strange and sinister battles. Ripping yarns of intrigue and high adventure in Tales of the Gold Monkey, tonight at 7:20 on BBC One.
Now on BBC One, the evening news with Richard Whitmore. The time is 5:40.
The Chancellor cuts the employer's national insurance surcharge by a full 1%. Social security payments and state pensions next year probably won't be increased to keep pace with inflation. Israel Prime Minister Begin says nobody could have foreseen the Beirut massacre. In Wales, the policeman blinded in a shooting thanks his hundreds of well-wishers. The Chancellor of the Exchequer, Sir Geoffrey Howe, has announced the government's spending plans for next year. Inflation, he says, will continue to fall to 5% early next year. But he expects that the economy will grow only slightly and unemployment will continue to rise into next year.
The end of transmission tonight here on Anglia Television. We resume broadcasting in a few hours' time at 6:55 when Sally Dewhurst and Peter Gosling will be with you. Well, that's all from us for tonight. I'd like to wish you all a very good night.
Saturday, 6.
Now on TVS, we join Fiona Armstrong for the latest world news. The time, 1 o'clock.
You're watching Anglia Television. Now, over to ITN.
right, gentlemen, before you all get started.
To ATV, where the first time seems or looks as if it was made that long ago. Edward VII.
Normally that.
You're watching Anglia Television, the news from ITN.
And you're never too old to go.
Goodbye.
We, on this, the longest-running magazine program in history, always knew that to run an effective current affairs service, we should make you our best friends, with a sense of humor.
Some article.
It's goodbye from us. And as your host for this last Southern program, here's a man whose bottom half has never been seen before on your screen, but whose face is familiar to you all. One of Southern's most popular station announcers, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Christopher Robbie.
The herald of the law, John Benson. Thank you, John. Well, good evening and welcome, and I'm delighted, we're all delighted that you've joined us. And as the moment approaches, and on this occasion I don't, of course, simply mean that magical moment when Big Ben strikes midnight, but, if you like, as our moment approaches, we're going to take a light-hearted, because New Year's Eve is a time for celebration and not for lament. So essentially a light-hearted look back at some of our achievements. Yes, that is the right word. Southern Fantasia, composed specially for us by Jonathan Burton and played there with their customary panache by the Bournemouth Sinfonietta. And I think we should take this moment to thank the Bournemouth Sinfonietta, thank their conductor, Owain Arwell-Hughes, and also their colleagues in the symphony orchestra for the wonderfully warm and creative relationship that has built up between us over the years. And also, of course, for the many fine performances that they have given us, both in the concert hall and in this very studio. So, thank you. But please don't go away, because we shall need you when we come to link arms at midnight. So, where are we? Well, I've just said we're here in our main Studio 1. A studio which has seen, my goodness me, during its life, an enormous variety of performance and spectacle. And none greater, perhaps, than when we gave the then unknown Grace Kennedy the star treatment.
For a fast, reliable developing and printing service, bring your colour film to Boots. For example, only $2.99 for 20 prints. That's the photo deal from all Boots branches.
I need mentholyptus. Oh, boy, do I need mentholyptus. Oh, from a music lover. That strong menthol action. It's sweet music to my nose and throat.
Hall's mentholyptus. Sweet music for your nose and throat. Where can you ride on great little trains? Right to the top of great big mountains. Where can you spend the morning listening to strange tales in old historic castles? Call in on your favorite beach to ride the winner of the last race before returning to your hotel for a victory celebration. Where these days can you still afford a real family holiday among friendly faces in fascinating places? The answers are all in our brochure.
These days, everyone's trying to tempt you with their bargain offers. But when you know about good furniture pricing, go straight to Courts. Especially now, at sale time, when good value gets even better. Go straight to Courts, January sale. It's on tomorrow, New Year's Day.
You've still a lot to do before the weekend.
This cold doesn't help.
Take Beecham's powders. Feel better fast. Extra fine powder, trusted formula, mean fast action, quick relief.
Everyone doing it!
At the first sign of a cold, take Beecham's powders. Feel better fast.
Clean gum. Strong teeth. Strong gum. Feel the tingle.
The tingle tells you that Fluoride SR with its own anti-plug ZCT is working to help protect gum edges where plug collects.
So get the SR tingle for healthy teeth and gums.
We are the lads from country life, and you'll never put a better bit of butter on your knife if you haven't any in. Have a word with your wife and spread it on your toast in the morning. It's country life, it's English too.
Who's this? Dunno. What are you doing? Dunno.
What are you going?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Bye. So spread it on your toast in the morning.
Country life. You'll never put a better bit of butter on your knife.
Guinness would like to wish everyone all the very best in 1980.
Who can?
interrupting your enjoyment of this meal for a minute or so, that this is the last time we shall all be together to say farewell to Southern Television, the company which has provided us with our livelihood for many for the best years of their lives. Now, I am going to sing our praises a bit in due course. For over 25 years, Southern has been and still is a fine company. But we are to be killed off, having been condemned for 11 months in the condemned cell, for reasons we know, I think, far too little about. We have suffered, and I mean we have suffered. The agony and shock of that decision on the 28th of December may now be passing. But there remains the rage, the bitterness, the sense of injustice for many of us, and that will not pass. But the sooner it's all over, now, so much the better. History may vindicate us, but there's little consolation in that at this present time. But let us remember our record with pride, and in years to come, when we look back and maybe reminisce together, let us think again on the good things we have done and the major contributions we have made to the success of independent television. For we have been a progressive, dedicated company with a panache and high standards. We've been a leader in a number of fields. I need not enumerate them now, they are known to you. But this I believe, in fact I know, we have provided a first-class regional service to our area, stimulating interest and providing enjoyment for millions of our viewers over the years. In addition, we have been a leader amongst the regional companies in providing major contributions to the national network, culminating in the very notable successes we have achieved this year. I wonder how well did the authorities study our application, because it was all in there. Let us also not forget the major part that our sales staff have played in industry affairs. But that is now all in the past. Shortly, we will all go our various ways. For a few of us, it's the end of the road. But many will carry on the work in the region, others will be scattered. But I know that they will carry Southern standards with them. Let us wish them every success. But enough. Do not let ourselves be downhearted tonight. Rather, let us be merry and enjoy the company of the friends we have all made in the fellowship of Southern Television. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to stand if you would, and I would ask you to join with me in a toast to Southern Television, a fine company, a very fine company.
The toast is Southern Television, a fine company, a very fine company.
Well, that was David Wilson, our chairman, speaking with feeling and a certain amount of defiance at our final staff dinner. Now, I mentioned a short time ago that the newcomers were waiting in the wings. Well, they're not, of course. That was a joke. But nevertheless, over the past months, we have been giving them shelter in our car park in a plethora of porter cabins. Now, I mentioned that simply that you might enjoy more fully our next item, because there was at that same staff dinner one who cast a cynical eye, albeit with gentleness and humor, towards the future. Richard Stilgoe.
We are Porter Cabin TV, and we can't believe our luck to have got the bit from Channel to North Sea. To be frank, we thought the best would have been to go for Westwood or Yorkshire or even ATV. We a Portakabin TV, our approach is fresh and new. You won't see us making shows just 'cause they pay. There'll be no more 3-2-1, and crossroads we will shun, well, at least for the first 6 months anyway. We a Portakabin TV, and the southeast of our patch is top of our list of priorities. It will be all systems go in our Maidstone studio just as soon as we find out where Maidstone is. We are Portakabin TV, and we promise we will change everything so that all is new and vital. The show to alter most will be our nightly coast to coast, which is really day by day with a new title. We are Portakabin TV, and we're dropping lots of shows. I'm afraid to how we all must say goodbye, because we don't know how, but we do know when. It's now, and what people want to know is not how, but why. We are Portakabin TV, and all that's going to change is the local television station's name. We would change things if we could, but Southern was so good. We've decided to leave everything the same.
Well, of course, everything will not be the same. But nevertheless, we feel that we've left a standard to aim at. Programs as different as Spearhead and Wurzel Gummidge, as varied as House Party, That Beryl Marsden, Runaround, How, and Out of Town. Covering all subjects, all tastes. And of course, blanketing the region with programs like Day by Day, Scene Midweek, and Scene Southeast. And then those huge, huge productions, which we've enjoyed making every bit as much as you've enjoyed watching. I wonder if you remember Sir Alec Guinness and Genevieve Bujold in Shaw's Caesar and Cleopatra. Goodbye songs from Lillian Watson, because it's goodbye time. We said at the start we'd come to celebrate, and I think we have. We've enjoyed remembering, and I'm sure you won't forget. So, with a final farewell smile from those Southern people who've become, for many of you, true friends, it's goodbye from us.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be able to say to you, welcome to Channel 4. Highlights of your first week on 4 can be seen in half an hour in preview. Now our first programme, Countdown.
Hello, good evening, and as the countdown to a brand new channel ends, a brand new countdown begins.
Good morning and welcome to New Year's Eve here on Southern. In 25 minutes, our film Africa, Texas Style, starring John Mills, Hugh O'Brien and Nigel Green, all about a rather unusual attempt to preserve Kenyan wildlife. We'll be going out of town with Jack Hargreaves at 11:30. And at 12, programmes for younger viewers begin with Little Blue. Right now, we're off to the Lost Islands.
It's nearly 1982, and that means the end of Southern television, so do join us in a moment as we say it's goodbye from us.
At their brewery in Copenhagen, Carlsberg's brewing experts constantly strive to improve and refine their famous lager. But as they consider that Carlsberg is already probably the best lager in the world, they have little hope of success. How well? Carlsberg, probably the best lager in the world.
Did you know that Colite is specially made to give you up to 1/3 more heat? Colite. Less smoke, more heat.
When you've got a cough that's bigger than you are, you need all the help you can get. Famol expectorant. A cough medicine that's bigger than your cough. Famol expectorant.
All over the country, people are turning in early, so they'll be up in time for the winter sale at Debenhams. It's now on. Also open tomorrow, New Year's Day.
Pound of Danish middle-cut rashers, please. But that's not Danish. It hasn't got the Danish. Which means it won't have the Danish.
That's right, lad. Only Danish has the...
Because only Danish bacon has the Danish.
Right. And if you want that special Danish, you've got to insist on Danish, the rasher to rely on.
When it's dry, let it fall. When it's dry, it's crazy granules. Let it fall. When it's dry, it's crazy granules. Let it fall.
Bisto rich gravy granules make meaty tasting gravy in seconds. For meats that haven't got enough juices to make it on their own.
When it's dry, it's crazy granules. Let it fall.
Win a luxury holiday home of a lifetime. Let Hogg Robinson Travel book your holiday with leading tour operators, and a timeshare in a fabulous villa or one of dozens of other star prizes could be yours. Hogg Robinson Travel give you sound professional advice, the pick of the best value holidays around, and the expert care and attention you expect from one of Britain's leading travel agency groups. Before choosing your holiday, see Holiday 82, free from your local Hogg Robinson Travel shop, or ring this number today.
From Addington south to Alton, and from Windsor west to Marlborough, the Newbury Building Society is celebrating a century and a quarter of local service with memories like these. In any of the Newbury's 22 offices, you may share these memories and discover how the Newbury's strong, friendly, local character and high rates of local interest still bring you a lot closer to home.
The final farewell smile from those southern people who've become, for many of you, true friends. It's goodbye from us.
Good morning. It's New Year's Day 1982, and this is Television South, TVS, the new independent television company that's proud to serve both the south and southeast of England. To begin with, we bring in the new with, for the first time, our symbol, which will soon become very familiar.
On December the 28th, 1980, Lady Plowden, the outgoing chairman of the Independent Broadcasting Authority, announced a major change of direction for television in the south of England. An 8-year license to broadcast was granted to TVS, a new company to replace Southern Television, who'd been responsible for commercial television in the south of England since 1957. So here we are, a brand new company, and we had just 1 year and 3 days to recruit staff, to buy and build studios and equipment ready to start broadcasting today.
In 1988, one ITV company makes over 150 nationally shown variety, comedy and quiz shows. That same company will also make a greater variety of children's programs than any other. It also made the controversial drama Mandela and exported it to over 50 countries. In the course of a typical year, this ITV company makes 1,000 hours of programs for the nation and the South. And it also brings you the news that matters throughout the day, every day. Which ITV company is it? Yours. In 1988, one ITV company makes over 150 nationally shown variety, comedy and quiz shows. That same company will also make a greater variety of children's programs than any other. It also made the controversial drama Mandela and exported it to over 50 countries. In the course of a typical year, this ITV company makes 1,000 hours of programs for the nation and the South. And it also brings you the news that matters throughout the day, every day. Which ITV company is it? Yours.
We're making it just like you, making it here in the South, making the pictures to color your life, sharing the moments as each day arrives. Success is in the air for TVS, just like you, we're making it happen, like you, we're making it too, just like you, we're making it here in the South, TVS. We're making it just like you, making it here in the South, making the pictures to color your life, sharing the moments as each day arrives. Success is in the air for TVS, just like you, we're making it happen, like you, we're making it too, just like you, we're making it here in the South, TVS. We're making it just like you, making it here in the South, making the pictures to color your life, sharing the moments as each day arrives. Success is in the air for TVS, just like you, we're making it happen, like you, we're making it too, just like you, we're making it here in the South, TVS. We're making it just like you, making it here in the South, making the pictures to color your life, sharing the moments as each day arrives. Success is in the air for TVS, just like you, we're making it happen, like you, we're making it too, just like you, we're making it here in the South, TVS. We're making it just like you, making it here in the South, making the pictures to color your life, sharing the moments as each day arrives. Success is in the air for TVS, just like you, we're making it happen. World-class entertainment. TVS. We're making it just like you. Making it just like you. Making it just like you. Just like you. We're making it here in the South. TVS. We're making it just like you. Making it here in the South. Making the pictures to color your life. Sharing the moments as each day arrives. Success is in the air for TVS just like you. Like you, we're making it happen. Like you, we're making it too. And TVS is coming together for TVS. Just like it is for you from TVS. World-class entertainment. TVS. We're making it just like you. Making it just like you. Making it just like you.